morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am so excited to be here with Radiance. Radiance, tell us the name of your law firm.
In my law firm, it's Radiance IP Law.
Okay, wonderful. I was very lucky to meet Radiance at a really amazing event for the Nehemiah Project, and I am very interested in getting more involved in that and starting, but we really hit it off, and I love a powerful, something really amazing, and makes me feel good about myself as a woman to see a powerful female attorney, that's successful and doing, there's just something wow about that. It's one of those industries and lines of work that it makes me feel like women have made some ground, right, in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us what led you to law. What is a little bit of your story and your journey?
Sure. So I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer ever since I was 15 years old. So in high school, I just developed this interest in the law. I'm the first one in my family, so I didn't have anyone in my family who was a lawyer, but I was really heavy into basketball during that time, and one of my teammates, her father was a lawyer.
So basketball, you can see the height difference. It's crazy. I'm not allowed to make me look short on camera, Radiance. Yes, she's a basketball player, and not.
Yes, former basketball player. It was my thing. Ball was life for a very long time. But in any event, one of my teammates' father was a lawyer, very generous, very smart, made the law sound so cool. Plus, he looked like he had money. And I was like, oh, well, that looks cool. So ever then, basically, I was on track to go to law school. So everything from the college that I went to Swarthmore College, which is a liberal arts college outside of Philadelphia. While there, I majored in English and religion because I knew it would require a lot of reading and writing. Again, I was super focused on getting to law school. And then once I graduated from Swarthmore College, I went straight into law at University of Maryland School of Law.
Oh, very cool. Very good. So you're a Terp, right? My husband's a University of Maryland.
Well, the law school is in Baltimore. So it's like a part of the University of Maryland. So I don't know what we are. Like, there is no official team over there, but I guess we are affiliated with the Turtle.
Your parent. Your parent university has got the Turtle going on.
Exactly.
Really good. Really good. So you chose a specific direction of law. Was there a reason behind that? How did that come about?
So how I got into what I'm doing now, which is intellectual property law and business law, while I was in law school, I did a number of summer internships and law clerk positions in different areas of law. So I worked at a family law firm for a little bit as a law clerk. I worked at big law firms doing various practices ranging from real estate to corporate to bankruptcy to trademarks to basically commercial litigation, everything. I wanted to dibble and dabble and really see what really fit for me. And I thought originally that I would do corporate or real estate because I knew I didn't want to be in the courtroom. I'm very introverted, so that courtroom thing is not that law and order was not my thing. And so I did that, but I realized it was super boring. I didn't like it.
Right.
But I loved trademark and copyright law. And so the summer after my second year of law school, I got a job offer in the trademark, copyright, and media group at a major law firm in Washington, D.C. And so basically I've been doing that area of law ever since, and that was 10 years ago.
Well, my listeners usually get lots of benefit from learning about amazing people and their passions and their some key tips and tidbits. And since we've got this great opportunity to have a free law session with you, can you give them some points and tidbits? I read an article recently, and you can elaborate some if you'd like, that you wrote about the copyright law changing where you have to actually register, which interests me because I put a copyright on everything I produce as a company owner. Can you give us the top 3 things we really need to be thinking about doing, and when we absolutely need to come see an attorney? I know this is not a sales pitch for you, but whether it's you or someone else, One of the points where our intellectual property is getting so vulnerable that we absolutely need to work with someone like you. So maybe start with a couple of your tips and then we'll go into that.
Okay, sure. So it's actually really important, believe it or not, as a business owner to at least speak with an attorney and find out what you need to do right at the beginning. Because there are a lot of things that you need to be doing if you haven't already that will give you the legal foundation to actually be able to move forward with peace of mind, and actually have a profitable business. So if you don't have those legal foundations, you're actually missing out on a lot of opportunities to maximize your profits and actually grow as a business. And so a lot of things such as, making sure you have a business entity, making sure you have your legal contracts in place, protecting your trademarks, which is like your actual brand. So your name, your logo, your slogans, your product and service names, or if you have a course, the name of your course, things of that nature. All of those things are completely important and very, very significant to how you will evolve as a business owner, because what you don't want to do is, you open your business, you're really focused on like your craft, right? You're really focused on what you're passionate about, but there are a lot of legal issues. So say you're doing work and you're working with clients, but you don't have a very strong agreement or an agreement at all. You're just working with people and sending them invoices. Right. That can be problematic because if something goes south, then you don't have a legal agreement. And then they sue you, and then you're going back and forth, he said, she said. Whereas you can eliminate the possibility of those types of things happening if you have very clear, detailed agreements in place for different arrangements.
My problem is I really have this strong desire for them to be very simple to read and as short as possible.
Yes.
I feel like they're just as worthless when they're all this legalese, no offense.
Yep.
They don't make any sense to me. And I wanted a one-pager for my client with my clients, 2 at max. I ended up with 6 pages in my agreement, which I'm having revamped because
yep.
That was what I clearly explained to the person I was working with, and I still ended up with this big pile. And I'm sure she did a good job. I'm sure she was covering my butt, but I don't understand any of it, and I don't want to have
right.
Oh, well, what's this part? I'm like,
right.
Something the attorney put in there.
And what's the point of having an agreement that you don't understand? Right. And so that's something that I completely pride myself in. And a lot of it revolved from my English background about writing in a clear and simple way that people actually understand. And that's actually my job.
Binding, right? You don't have to talk in Greek.
No, and that's my job as an attorney, to speak in a way that people understand and to actually write in a way so that when they have the agreement, they know what it actually says and they can explain to whoever it is, this is what it says. So it's not useful for you to have a contract that you don't understand. So I personally, when I draft contracts, I'm not using like all these complex legal terms like hereby, thereafter, shall. I just write in regular, straightforward language.
Right.
Like, you want people to actually understand what it says. So I totally agree with your sentiments. I'm totally on board with that because that's what I'm all about. Simple, straightforward English.
Now, what's this new thing that you wrote an article about with the copyright? What's happening?
Sure. So there was a recent U.S. Supreme Court decision which held that a U.S. copyright registration certificate is required to sue for copyright infringement. So a lot of people create content as a part of their business or their everyday life. So whether that's blogging, photographs, books, ebooks, anything really. And so all of that is actually copyright. So just by virtue of you creating it, putting your ideas on paper, you have copyright in that.
Well, and I add at the bottom in the footer, the little copyright symbol and the year and my name and the business name and all rights reserved and all that. So is that enough, or do I need to go somewhere and register every single piece that I do, or what does that mean?
So that notice is basically a public notice. So it serves as a way of you educating to the public that you're claiming copyright in that. Because a lot of times the public, as you know, doesn't understand what copyright is. And so that's just your way of putting a stamp on whatever it is that you created to let them know that you own the copyright, you're the one who's created it. However, without the notice, you still have copyright in it. Like the notice is just a signifier to the public. But what this decision means is that if someone, let's say you have a book and this book is making you a lot of money that you've written, and you find out that someone's basically ripped off your book and now they're publishing it. They've taken basically the meat of your book and they're publishing it under a different title. You would need to have a U.S. copyright registration certificate to actually sue them. So
for that particular book or that piece?
Yes.
And how do you get that?
So you get a registration from the U.S. Copyright Office. The U.S. Copyright Office is the only government entity that can issue.
So is that something you do online, or how do you?
Yeah, it's online. It's online, and I'm actually in the process of working through a course. Oh, I'm sorry.
She's a busy lawyer, people, with phone ringing. This is a good sign. It means she's good.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So having the registration is basically the insurance that you need to then pursue a lawsuit.
Sadly, we need this for every single thing. We have to register.
Not necessarily. I mean, there is a criteria, and basically the criteria is, I usually do an audit with clients where we go through and just write everything you've created, everything that you've done, just so that they have.
And then decide which ones really warrant.
And then we order it in priority. Those things that are of immense value, that are making you money, that you're actually monetizing, that are being distributed widely, those are the ones that you would want to pursue copyright registrations for. But, individual blog posts or things like that, maybe not so much, because you might not be monetizing those. But if there's a photo, a very popular photo that you are licensing to individuals, that people are paying you to use in their books or what have you, that is something that you would want to secure a U.S. copyright.
And my classes and things like that, the names. So the name of a class, though, or like, for example, I have this video series and it's titled Profound Professionals. So that would be something would I copyright it, or would I trademark it? So
trademarks protects the names of titles, not actually titles, but the actual brand name, service name, or product name. Whereas the content. So you protect the content.
You need to trademark it and copyright it.
You would
we need a lawyer, people. Do you see all this stuff?
Right. I mean, people interchange it. You have no idea how many people come to me and say, I want to patent my business name, and I'm like, oh gosh, like, you can't patent your business.
Did you invent it? Is it kinetic? Does it move? Is it working?
It's like, oh gosh, no. Like, people are always interchanging the themes, and so I always try to educate, these are totally different things, guys. There's intellectual property.
So patent is for an actual product, invention, a thought, a mechanism, right?
Right. So products products, inventions, processes are patents.
But not like classes and knowledge and teaching. You don't patent that. You copyright that. You trademark the name.
Exactly.
Hey,
there you go. And then there's also trade secrets. Trade secrets are things that you want to keep a secret. So if there's a proprietary way of doing things or secret formula, that is a trade secret.
And that I would protect. So if I have a certain system and process that I'm teaching them that really is unique formula for me, then that's something that I would work with an attorney to cover and protect as a trade secret. So
exactly.
To use it for the benefit of themselves and their company. They're not supposed to share it outside. And
right. And so that's where you need the contract to protect the trade secret. That's where you need a contract in place to make sure that people don't, say you're doing a training where you're teaching people to do this method, this secret method or proprietary method. You'd want to have agreements in place to make sure that they can't just freely start using it as their own. So there are a lot of nuances to this, intellectual property law, but my job is to help.
I've learned so much just from our little bit of interaction and time together. And one of the other things you pointed out to me, and everyone, I'm going to be a commercial for this, is a package available on her website, so you should check it out. All the links will be below this video on YouTube if you're seeing it there. It'll be included in the article on LinkedIn and available everywhere else we post it. But go to her website, because one of the things I didn't think about as I'm developing my website is having the proper terms and conditions. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that looks like and what you offer on your site, if you don't mind, for a second?
Sure. So every business should have at least a privacy policy on their website. And if they have an interactive website where they're actually having people book appointments or buy products and things of that nature, or even taking emails for a mailing list, you would also want to have terms and conditions.
Okay.
So website terms and conditions and privacy policy are two things pretty much every business website should have. The terms and conditions basically will educate visitors of the website as to what your policies are, what are the do's and don'ts, things of that nature, whereas the privacy policy educates them on what personal information of theirs is going to be collected, how are you using it, are you sharing it, all of those things which are required under the GDPR law, which was released back in May. It was released, and so basically all businesses need to make sure that their privacy policies are GDPR compliant. And so on my website, I do have a online shop where you can purchase customizable contract templates and bundles, which were personally drafted by myself, which are in that plain, straightforward English that you will actually understand. And so one of the bundles that is available is a website terms and conditions and privacy policy
that
bundle.
Kind of covers what most people would need.
Yep.
To make sure they're in compliance, and that's
exactly. Yeah, and you just customize it, fill in the blanks so that it actually applies to your specific business, the way you run business. And if you do have any questions, you can then schedule a follow-up review session where we will go through and review your templates to make sure they're actually fit for your business needs. Because there's no sense in having an agreement that is not fit for your business or doesn't cover your hind parts.
Right, you don't want to miss anything after taking all that time and effort to do that. So
exactly.
Well, good. So this series, as you know, is called Profound Professionals. And one of the reasons I call it that is because either I've met someone incredibly inspiring, but the other reason is a lot of the people that I meet, and based on, like, I guess, law of attraction, I tend to have a circle of people who are doing amazing and profound things in our community and in our world. So beyond the passion of your business and your journey, I know you're a mama and have a family, but what else really makes your heart sing, and how are you reaching out beyond that, and some of maybe what you have some passion beyond law?
Sure. So my passion beyond law, been a very big advocate for health and fitness. And so the importance of taking care of yourself from the inside out. So eating healthy and exercising and drinking plenty of water. And so that's something that I'm very passionate about and that I try to share with the community. I was formerly a Beachbody coach. And so I was really out there in the community pushing and pushing the importance of fitness and helping people get healthy and fit. But I now just focus on the law primarily, but that passion hasn't left me. And so that's something that I continue to share on social media, or anyone who I come into contact knows about how passionate I am about those areas. So
one of my goals is to try to do at least 2, they call them run walks for the people like me who kind of, I call it's a jog. You know, it's a little bit of a jog, but then it turns into a walk, and it's a little bit of a jog, and then it turns into a walk. It's a jog.
Hey, it's movement, and that's what's important. It's movement.
Connecting that to a good cause. I try to pick 1 or 2 a year that I'm doing so that A, I'm moving, but B, I'm also supporting.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Not last year, but the year before, for CareNet. And that was good to support that cause. So do you sometimes participate in events like that where you're trying, I guess you'll be pushing the stroller out there, right?
I know. I haven't done it as much since my son is born. My son is 18 months old, but previously I was a big runner. I ran marathons, half marathons.
Yeah. See, that's way 5K.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore, but that is what I did do, and a number of those races were for various causes, and so now I'm a little bit more dialed down. I work out at home. You just kind of, as life proceeds, things change and you just adapt, and so I'm just adapting to life as a mom and a business owner and just trying to do the best that I can.
Well, we'll put the challenge out there. Anyone who watches this, if you're affiliated with an organization, a nonprofit or cause that's doing a run or a walk this year or any year that you've used it, throw it up in the comments, and Radiance and I will try to participate on some level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So share with what you have. Is there a book? I always like to ask about a book or some sort of inspirational piece that speaks to you. Is there a book that you would recommend to our readers, or something else that inspires you you'd want to share?
Well, I mean, the most recent book that I really enjoyed reading was actually the book Becoming by Michelle Obama. That has actually moved to the front end of like being one of my favorite books of all time. It was almost like reading my own personal story, except for the fact that I'm not the first lady and I'm not married to Barack Obama. But like in terms of her
besides that was totally you, right?
Besides that, just the trajectory of like, you know, formerly working in big law and just her whole experience navigating the law and then navigating life as a new mom. I felt like I was reading my own story in a different way. It was just weird, but that's one of my favorite books. So for anyone who's just looking for a great memoir biography, definitely read that. And I would suggest doing it in Audible where you can actually hear her voice.
I love that, don't you?
Oh, I love it.
It makes you feel like you're starting to get to know the person. You have
exactly.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I have several books that I recommend, and I tell them get the hard copy, but listen to the audio version. It's read by the author.
Exactly.
You like form a friendship, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I always tell these people reach out to those authors on LinkedIn, and I have for the books that I've read. I don't know if you'll be able to get your hands on Michelle or not, but.
Right.
But most other authors really appreciate the fact that you love their book and will connect with you on LinkedIn. I've had actual conversation with multimillionaires, owners of publishing companies that publish books and things like that all through. Just saying, hey, I really loved your book. So that works. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you really would love to share with everyone before we say goodbye?
So one thing, I encourage you to check out my website, radianceiplaw.com. I do have a free legal checklist on there, which outlines the most important 9 crucial steps you should take as a new business owner. And so I encourage you to check that out. It's free. It's available on my website.
And we'll share the link below. So have a wonderful day. I'm so glad we finally got a chance to do this. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone. Please, the very best and nicest thing you can do for us is comment, like, and share with your circles if you've enjoyed any of the information we had today. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.